there are things that companies can do to prepare to get a better valuation. Let me give you the things that, in my opinion, typically add to a company's value. First is a steady growth in revenues and earnings. We look at companies sometimes that have revenue growth that's just jumped up in the last couple of years. They may have been 4 years ago 25 million, then 27 million, then 38 million, then 50 million. You go, wow, how sustainable is this? Because if we're going to pay off of that 50 million in revenues and the earnings that fall out of that, it takes a while to establish that that's really the run rate of the company. And so the steadier growth without ups and downs and increasing margins, that profit margin, the percentage of revenues that flows through to the bottom line, are all indicators of quality companies that will get a higher value. Customers are important. A broad base of customers, avoiding customer concentration, and having long-term relationships with those customers. Again, it's just the predictability that these customers are likely to continue to be customers in the future, particularly if the owner's leaving and the owner may have had deep relationships with a couple of big customers. That's a warning sign and can detract from a company's value. But when you have a broad number of customers, the largest of which is much less than 10% of your revenues and is spread across a number of customers, that's an indication of security and higher value for a company. If there's a customer that's 30 or 40% of sales, and if that customer's lost, it could be a huge negative impact on the company. I don't need to tell the entrepreneur that. The owner knows that. They lose sleep over those customers. So do the buyers. That will reduce the value for the company. Another attribute that adds to the quality of a company's value, or the value of a company, is a quality management team. You know, oftentimes when you're the entrepreneur, it's all about you, and that's great. But at the time that it comes to sell the company, it can't be all about you, because you're not going to be there forever, maybe even at all if you want to exit the business. So building that quality management team, you know, in the area of finance, in the area of sales, in the other key areas within your company, so that when the owner is gone, that management team is there and they've got the capacity to grow. Again, the presence of a broad, experienced team adds to the value. The absence of that detracts to the value. Good financial records are important. Not every company has an audit, but if you've had outside financing from a bank, you're typically required to keep your financials in good order, and that, again, is an indication not only of accurate accounting, but also of quality management and being on top of the business. We've had companies that we've looked at that the financials were literally kept in a shoebox, and I'll tell you that we put a huge discount on companies that's their accounting system. And it may have, the checkbook, keeping a checkbook register may have worked for the entrepreneur, but I can tell you that financial buyers and strategic buyers really get spooked by that, and it's going to be a problem in terms of going to sell the company. The next area, you want to demonstrate that there is growth ahead. You can't wait until you've already run out of your growth opportunities and then decide to sell your company. What are the growth prospects? Be able to articulate those, and it's part of your own business plan to say, here's the growth, these are new products, these are new geographies, these are new customers we can go attract, and make sure that those growth prospects are still present when it comes time. And then the final point that I would mention that generates a high value for companies is when there's something that's truly proprietary. Is there intellectual property? Is there information technology? Are there product formulas? Is there a truly unique manufacturing process? Be realistic about what's unique versus what's just a practice that you use, because if there's something that's protectable and sustainable, if there's a patent, if there's a trademark, if there's an intellectual property patent, those create value because they can be operated by somebody else, and that's a good way to think about getting the most for your company.